My life has been filled with many blessed moments. One of them was years ago. I was fortunate enough to get dressed up as a court jester on April Fool's Day and proclaim, "You're not dealing with the full deck when you throw the Joker out." Yes, on April 1st, 1988, with the permission of my Congresswoman and the Capitol architect, I presented myself, Ray Cycle, as a conservative jester running for president, PRECED10. And my slogan was Recycle Our Nation's Capital. You see, working at the DC Energy office, I created Ray to present a saving message. And this message was a message of that, if there's a pollution solution, that things are picking up. And I was very lucky to be allowed to get up and present this message and, in one sense, metaphorically bomb the Capitol with my silly, nonviolent disobedience. I created Ray Cycle at the DC Energy office because Washington, D.C. is probably the most wasteful place on the planet. And Ray was providing a sort of insight that created mirth and fun. Now, I go back with the idea of court gesture since I was 14, growing up in D.C. Tennis courts, I like the idea of jesting about tennis tips. Keep the eye on the ball, not the ball in your eye, and other sort of stupid type expressions. Later, at getting a tennis scholarship at GW, I learned that oil was all over my area watershed, Little Falls, which served as the drinking water supply for DC. And this prompted me to do humor more, to jest that you dump it, you drink it. And I became an oil recycling expert, building a recycling plant in DC and also doing international oil recovery work. I also, for 40 years, have created other characters such as the Trash Pirate on Long Island and Noah U. Water here in the Shenandoah Valley. So Ray Cycle blows his frugal bugle with the gift of thrift. Laughing is better than crying, and the attitude of gratitude is what life's all about. This character's whole presidency is based on dealing with the full deck, save the Joker, recycle our nation's capital. Now, it's interesting when I look back on how I created this character, because one of my greatest fears growing up, fear could be spelled a couple things. False expectation appearing real, fudge everything and run, or face everything and recover, comes from being buried alive. And interesting that my brothers used to take me out and put me in the trunk of a car, or I was like the little dummy they would put in the dryer to see what would happen. And years later, when my dad working on the Capitol Hill, I was just appalled by all the waste of paper. And you could also say the waste of good air, because all that gaseous waste coming off. So I got very interested in exploring my fear of being buried alive by taking materials and saving them again. Now, in the process of my life, I've also almost been killed numerous times. I remember when I was 12 years old with a friend on a motorcycle going between two cars at about 40 miles an hour. Met numerous car accidents, tried to chase a car, almost roll over me, got my leg crushed, and that sort of got me into the whole recycling and resource conservation issue. Building an oil recycling plant. 3 times I almost got killed by electrocuting myself with a thief, doing an oil sample, looking in the Fry app of where we were making the oil, and recycling it with a non-explosion proof flashlight, and then finally hot boiling oil almost going all over me. Other instances was as the Trash Pirate before up on Long Island, I saw 16 people hit me head on. So I have been so blessed to be still here. But it's interesting, my greatest fear is that I've met the enemy, and it's me. You see, we've had 58,000 thoughts, and every day, and 90% the next day, those same thoughts. And of those 90% thoughts that we still have, 3/4 are negative. And I found out it's not my fear of dying, it's my fear of living. That is really gets me. And so I want to share with you these insights because I feel that we're at a great time, and a time where we have great wealth but great poverty. We have enormous amounts of information but less wisdom. We have incredible opportunities but we don't exercise our potential. We have incredible communication system, yet we don't talk to each other. We have more free time, but we don't know how to have fun. We have more money, but less idea of well-being. We are at a time right now of great possibility. And I think when we look at our lives, it's not that we should look at those moments of our each breath, but we should look at the moments that take our breath away. So I appreciate you allowing me to share some of my insight. Remember what Ray says, recycle our nation's capital, deal with the full deck, keep the joker, and when the enemy attacks you, all those crazy, stupid thoughts in your mind, remember, nonviolent, silly disobedience can help you. It can free you. So deal with the full deck. Don't throw the joker out. And remember, self-love is the hardest thing in the world because it takes self-love to learn it. And once you love all things, then you fully understand that you never die.